My formal name is Elizabeth Collins. I am Betty Allen. That's how I started at the Grove, and then married into the Collins family. So people will know me as Betty Allen.
And what year did you start?
58.
Okay. So, when you first started at the Grove, you would get ready at the farm.
Yes, we didn't dress if we had period costumes and things like that. We had to dress up here. But we got ready in the sense of putting all our makeup on, getting everything together, because we weren't going to go back down there. Go to the privy there, because it was a much nicer privy than the one up here. And there are some pictures. There's some, Ross Hersey, an actor from Waynesboro, took lots and lots of photographs. And there's an artist in Stanton who's done some, I don't know what they are. They're like silkscreen copies of some of those pictures that were taken in the mudroom that he took, like through the glass. People are putting on their makeup, looking in the glass to do that.
So walk me through getting to the farm, and just like pretend that I don't know anything about this. So we'd go to the farm, here's what we do, and then we'd come here.
We stayed at the farm. Girls stayed at the farm upstairs in the front 2 rooms. And guys stayed that summer. Yes, there were men, boys. They were college students staying in what's the little house behind the big house?
Oh, the one that was called the Beulah? Was it called the Beulah?
Well, the Beulah Hotel, but it had another name, but it was given the name the Beulah Hotel. Stayed there. 2 guys from UVA. And so we stayed there. We did the cooking, we did the cleaning, we did the lunch cooking, the cleaning, we built sets, we did all the productions of the plays. If you weren't in the play, you were doing costumes, or you were helping with makeup, or you were helping with props, or you were doing something. And this was considered an apprenticeship. We paid for the privilege of doing this, which is why I didn't do it every year. I had to work some summers, But anyway, so there we were, and Margaret always did the dinner so that the actors and the people who were doing the production had plenty of time to get ready and get up the hill here. If it rained, I don't know if anyone, if it rained, we went down and did plays in the living room at the farm, which was pretty much like Reader's Theater or Radio Theater or something. Woo, you had time to turn, and that was it. You had no other space. But we would come up here, and if you had a quick change, your clothes would be behind the stage. Otherwise, you got ready, and they were wonderful experiences, like waiting for the show to start, and the cows go home mooing across behind you, and everybody gets hysterical when that happens. And then we did shows. If you had an entrance on the others, we used the side stages, and the side stages had plywood, usually with the rhododendrons were growing there, and behind the rhododendrons, so that it was backed up. And you could change clothes there, or you could also stay there for your entrances. We didn't hide down around the bottom as much as we were over here or on the side stage ready to go on. But a lot of people made an entrance from way over here, and there'd be music playing, and they just go on from where they were.
Take me from starting makeup at the farm to coming here for the show.
Okay. The mudroom was a place where Fletch was able to set up a string of lights that were like lights you would find in a makeup room inside. And so that's where we did it. There wasn't any place up here that you could string lights like that. Um, and for a long time, for many years. So we would get made up down there, everybody chatting and talking, and if you had extensive makeup, if we were doing the mides, doing a period piece play or something, lots of powder, because it would be hot for most of the season. The first play it was always freezing cold, and after that it would get very hot. And then, yes, we'd either walk or drive. There would be 2 or 3 cars, and they could ferry people up. So that worked out. Or some people like to walk up. And but if you had crazy shoes on, you didn't want to do that and carry your shoes with you. We got dressed up here. I think there were sheets hung for girls to get dressed behind. I don't recall. And be all ready and get in place, and the bell would ring and the cows would come by and the bats would start flying around, and the show would go on. And one thing, of course, having to start late, which has always been an issue out here, but you can't have a blackout at the end of Act 1. That's what Fletch, they all decided, unless you start pretty late. So we had to hang around, wait for that. I've always been impressed by those early audiences. They came, they sat through all kinds of weather. They went down to the farm if it rained. The women used the privy the same way we did in the cast. There was no running water up here. It was just until they dug the well. It was amazing. And they bought season tickets, and they came, and they supported it, and have continued to do that. And I don't know, maybe some people complain, but what the heck?
That was exactly what I was looking for.
They have water now, and they have a ladies' room now. What's to complain about? It's much better.
Okay, so now I'm going to fast forward you from the mud room to when the Quonset huts appear.
Well, I don't recall the Quonset hut.
Okay.
That may have been a period of time when I wasn't here, because I was not here a lot in the 70s. I was away for a couple of years in the early 60s, and away some in the 70s, and not doing. It kind of runs together in your head, I don't remember a Quonset hut. If we'd had one, I think we would have, a big one. We have these little things. These are...
Yeah, those are the ones because that was the next place for makeup. So do you remember?
No. I don't remember doing makeup in there. I don't remember electricity being in there. I remember them for storage, the way they are now.
Okay.
The sets were plywood. They were not what you learned in college, canvas stretched over frames. Because of being outside, the weather and all, they were plywood.
Okay.
So all that lumber was all over and there and used over and over and over again. And so I mostly remember makeup down there in the mudroom until we had makeup up here strung out like that. With, again, you need really good lights for makeup, so you can't do it just anywhere. You have to have the right setup for it.
Would you be able to tell me the frog story you told before we started rolling? Starting
Sorry?
The frog story you were telling us, but just
frog
for the
story.
camera. And the show, what show it was.
Yeah, that was, and the play was called Visit to a Small Planet. It's about an extraterrestrial who comes down and wants to rerun the Battle of Bull Run, taking the Confederate side. And I was playing the ingenue role, and when she gets realizes that pretty soon there's going to be civil war in the United States towards the end of because of what this guy's doing, she's supposed to sit on the sofa and stare down at the ground and concentrate to call his minder, the higher power of this extraterrestrial. And I'm sitting there when I see something out of the corner of my eye, and it's a frog. And the frog starts across the stage, and it stops for a while and looks around, and it comes a little bit farther. It keeps doing this, and I realize not just am I concentrating on the frog, the entire audience is concentrating on the frog. They have no clue what the plot is because we're all concentrating on this frog. And after a while I think, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know if they've gotten to my line. I'm supposed to jump up and interrupt and I haven't done anything. And there's the frog. And he went the entire way across the stage. And that's a long way, and not fast. He just went across at his own pace. We had to go on with the play, but again, I don't think the audience was hearing the play. You know, guy comes on, he says, "You got to stop this war. You can't do that." Frog is still going across the stage. Everybody's watching the frog.
Did you invite him back for a bow?
Oh yeah, the joys of. Did anyone tell you about when we had a goat? We had a live goat. We had a live goat.
Yes, but go ahead and tell it. That's coming out this week, but go ahead and tell it because we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, did they tell you which play it was? I don't remember.
It was Tea House of the August Moon.
Tea House of the August Moon. Yeah. And Jeannie Lee was doing the props for that, and she had these handwritten prop lists, and she was in charge of this goat, and the goat ate her prop list. She's over at stage right with this goat waiting for its entrance and this prop list. Also, she had long blonde hair and discovered the goat was goats will eat anything. Goats chewing on her hair. So, I don't know, live animals, it's like what people discovered in having a creche at Christmas time. You just can't do live animals. They are so unexpected.
That's perfect. Do you have a favorite memory that if somebody was saying, tell me one story about the Grove that just encapsulates, or that was just so funny to you, or meaning to you, or interesting? Is there anything that pops to mind? And we won't preface it in that this is Elizabeth's favorite memory ever. Just a story you want to tell.
Well, this is just a funny story. In those early years, every year we did a play of Margaret Collins's. And I think it was, I don't know, you'll have to look at it, 58, 59, we did a play of hers called Do You Daydream? And the ingenue role in that is a twin. So the person playing that role, which is Peggy Creighton Saldine, changes clothes and comes on as two different persons. And there are boys that are men, you know, they're grown, that were twins, and it all has to do with nature, nurture, that kind of thing. But there's one scene in which she's on stage and we have to see her back embracing someone else. That was me. It was very exciting. So we're behind stage there, and she comes down to change. She's going to give me her costume, you know, and I have to get in her costume, and she's got to get into the other costume. And she says, "There's a bug, there's a bug, there's a bug." I said, Where's the bug? I peel her off. There's this huge, humongous bug. In my memory, it was this long, on her back, right? And she, trooper that she was, had not fallen apart till she got off stage. So we get this bug off of her, and I get in her dress. And of course, it was so great because when Malcolm and I walked up with my back to him and to the audience, and I had a scarf on because she had beautiful red hair, and I did not. And we're walking up so they can't see me, and suddenly the lights come on us, and the audience just gasped because they had really bought into the twin idea, and they knew it was one person, but all of a sudden, darn, it is two people. You know? So I really liked that. I liked that part.
That's a tribute to disbelief suspended.
Yes, suspended
just they were with you.
Yeah. Audiences
Awesome.
are fantastic.
If there's some way you can sum up what the Grove meant to you, means to you, and we can think on it.
The Grove is magic. It's where magic happens. It's where you can be anything you want to be, anything you're called on to be as an actor. The lights come up and it's a whole different world out in the middle of nature, The plays that are the best here are like As You Like It, where you have no set, and it's just off to the hills and the grass and the trees all around, and you can really believe you're in Arden Forest. It's magic.
Was there anything else you wanted to say that
Well,
I
I'm
haven't?
going to tell you this story because it was Frank Sotherington's story. He's always told all the time. We were grown. This is not back in the early days. This is not that long ago. We're doing Amadeus, and he's playing Mozart, and I'm playing Mozart's wife. And these early scenes, they're young, and they call each other these awful cutesy names, and they run around. Mozart is just a real jerk, you know, and she, we have this scene where we're running around, she's up on a table, running around, he's chasing her, and we fall down on purpose, down on the downstage, and we have a costume mess. These costumes, they were right here. It just came right down. There I was. So after that, every time I saw Frank, a party couldn't go by when he told someone about this incident. And, you know, seeing my nipples was just I don't think you can put this on tape. But isn't that Frank? Isn't that such a Frank Sotherington moment? Really?
I think we could put right up to nipples.
No, right up to the nipples. Yeah.
Were we still rolling for that? Was that all good? Okay.
I'm trying to stay quiet. I'm sorry.
I think nipples are inferred.